number 1. Once again, cross spawns. Man, we've seen cross spawns so much lately. It's crazy. We've seen these cross spawns so much lately on Cactus Valley. I feel as though I'm the bringer of cross spawns because everything I observe seems to be in cross. To the top left-hand side of the map, guys, it is going to be our teal Zerg player. Give it up for the player who's opening with the aggressive gas pool. It is soO. And down to the bottom right-hand side, the green Zerg player from OSC Root. It is DemiLove. Guys, I do apologize. Obviously, today we might not have the best quality of stream. We might be a little bit laggy and FPS drops here and there. But the important thing is that it's watchable and that it's enjoyable as well, which it isn't back at the office. Again, I'm looking at it to see what I can do ASAP to try and fix it. I mean, it might just be that we have to just give up on the office and just cast from home, which would suck. But if that's what we got to do, it's what we got to do. But obviously, we're just casting from home on my old setup, more or less, until that gets sorted out. So until that's sorted out, we just have to sort of deal with this. And again, it's not the end of the world. It's not brilliant either. But at least we get to watch the StarCraft. At least we can bring you guys these games. As we set up into game number 1 then, let's see what soO's going to get done with this super early gas pool. Link speed starts, pulls out with 1 worker on the gas. And now it's just 2 workers left mining over there. So 2 workers continue to mine. Some Zergans gathering up together already towards the main base. And 6 more of them continue to come out as well. Queen about to pop. Link speed continue to come in too. And there's that hatchery coming down on the low ground. So hatchery coming down on the low ground right now. And the link speed starting up from DemiLove as well. He continues to mine gas, so he too will not be too far behind on the baneling nest. The fact that he actually went gas pool hatch is very, very good for him here, because it does give him the sort of defensive opening, which he will probably need against this to really kind of stay alive and to have a good time. Now right now, soO doesn't know where his opponent is. He doesn't know if it's bottom left or if he's top right. I guess he can more or less assume bottom left now because he sees no creep spread. And he is just going towards the bottom right, where he's going to see 2 Zerglings. He wants to dodge away from the watchtower. He didn't know what to do for the best there, because he didn't really want to reveal these Zerglings. But at the same time, if he moves away, there's still going to be Lings on the watchtower, and he's going to, give that vision up. I guess best would have been to maybe send 2 of his Lings to the side on the watchtower and pull the rest to the right, just to try and minimize the information. Anyways, soO gets across here. DemiLove obviously gets a bit of pre-warning, but the hatch on the low ground will start to take some damage, so let's see what's going to happen. As you see, some Zerglings just taking a little bit of damage here, and just some of them moving up in towards the main base. So, main nest not ready just yet for DemiLove, nor is this Spine Crawler, and that could be just the target here for soO. Get rid of this Spine Crawler, and all of a sudden your time later in this game becomes so much easier, as the first 2 Banes going to go around the top side of the hatchery. Let's see what's going to happen here as DemiLove, very late pull away, loses the Spine as well, and lots of drones, well, 3 drones killed, and about another 3 low on health, and easily targeted now by more Zerglings as they come on through. Here we go, going to take a bit of a larger fight. 5 workers killed so far by soO. He's still down a hatchery though, so he still has work to get done here, as he is denying mining as well. DemiLove has to get those workers back on minerals ASAP, and soO starts morphing a couple more banelings all over again, so the action will continue here, and I think DemiLove will end up losing this hatchery. He lost that Spine Crawler in the main base as well, which also sort of sucks a little bit for him, as we're going to see that spine, sorry, not the spine, the hatchery going down, and some Broodlings popping out. More Lings coming across the map here, and I feel as though, oh, well, I think 2 more Banes actually just went off in the main base, because DemiLove just dropped another 5 workers, and immediately typed out Abyssal Reef of the ZvZ, and let's see if it's going to be just as fast as game number 1. It looks as though it might be, and let's start with the guy who is going to be aggressive with the 12 pool in game number 2. To the top left-hand side of the map, our red Zerg player, it is soO. Guys, I'm sorry, again, there's it's obviously something with my mouse right now when I'm doing this. It's lagging us a little bit, so if I randomly go like, you know why. Bottom right hand side from OSC, root of the green Zerg player, it is DemiLove. Setting up into this, have a look to see what's going to happen. Pool comes down from DemiLove as well. And a few more drones just continuing to come on out. Some more drones on the way out here. soO just moving down towards the bottom right hand side. DemiLove moving in towards the upper left hand side. So 2 players just setting up into this for now, and just looking to see how this is going to go. 6 more Zerglings being made for soO as well. So yeah, say 6 more. The first 6 Zerglings being made for soO. I mean, it's a 12 pool. It's aggressive, and no gas does mean he can take a hatchery as well. And that means that he's just going to be having that hatchery to fall back on at a later point, but does still need to make sure he can pick off a a few of these drones to begin with. Because obviously that is the whole point of the 12 pool. So let's see how this goes. Once again, a pool gas hatch from DemiLove, or even pool hatch gas, I think. So DemiLove with a decent build order to get things started for himself. You know, he's going to have Zerglings of his own. And it's once again a build order advantage for DemiLove. You know, the same in the last game. He went for the more economic gas pool, and that should be advantageous to him. But he took a bit too much damage to the first Banelings, and things fell apart. In this game, Banelings won't be a thing from soO, so it's much easier for DemiLove to defend against this, and there's 6 Lings of his own coming down this ramp. Obviously though, because DemiLove went for pool first, he's also not that far ahead on drones, so soO doesn't have to look for that much more damage, and even just this little bit of lost mining time, which DemiLove is going in with right now, well, maybe that's even enough to start pulling soO back into this to some extent, as you see a couple more Lings coming around the side, and Queen has to come down to the low ground as well. soO's hatchery isn't even that much further behind, you can see it right here. I guess the main difference is going to be the fact that, well, actually, DemiLove never mined gas either, so what a weird game. DemiLove actually never went into his gas after seeing the 12 pool, and so here we are with both players on slow Lings at 2.5 minutes, with a hatchery up a piece, and, well, soO is a little bit behind still on the income, but he will kind of keep, you know, catch back up every now and then with more drones on the way. In fact, with 2 more drones coming in only 4 seconds behind, things are actually looking very, very even indeed, as we see. I don't think anyone's really winning this fight. It's pretty even on either side. DemiLove has the Queen to help out, so eventually he's able to push soO back, and both players will, well, I mean, not disengage. I mean, DemiLove is chasing, but these Zerglings don't really come to anything too useful in the end. Now we are going to be seeing 2 extractors coming down from soO. Obviously, he's been gasless so far. DemiLove was not mining gas, but he did have an extractor, so he was able to start mining gas pretty swiftly when he wanted to. Now he's up to 128. Something we might see from both players is just the bypassing of Zergling speed, because they both know there's speedless for now, and they might just both bypass the Zergling speed and go in towards the Roachron and Evo chamber to start setting up into a very strong Roach-based mid-game. There's the lair, there's the Evo chamber. Roachron should not be too far behind, and I do imagine that soO will aim for something similar. To make Zergling speed right now, before the lair and Evo chamber at least, would be a bit of a waste, I would say, because I feel as though there's so much you could get done with, you know, if you start making speed now, how much are you going to get done with Ling speed so late in the game? Well, I mean, maybe you can make the third base a bit more difficult to take for your opponent, but again, you've got like another 2 minutes, or a minute and a half at least, until that Ling speed kicks in. I mean, by then, there's going to be plenty of Roaches up for DemiLove, so I think soO is going indeed for the exact same thing we expect him to. Bypassing Ling speed for now. Might add it on later if he wants to get some Lings up, use them for counterattacks, run-bys, and all the rest of it as well. That is definitely a possibility. That is something which we could see happening. But initially here, it's all about just Roaches, upgrades, and that's what the lair is for as well. Obviously, the Roach speed to come on in. We're going to see soO for second Evo chamber. We'll see if that's just part of the wall, or whether he wants to go into +1 carapace as well as the +1 missile attack. The double upgrades in ZvZ not something you see all of the time, because it is just that little bit greedy. And if you are investing into +1 carapace, well, imagine how, you know, the 3 extra Roaches you could make at that point with instead of +1 carapace could just be enough to kill your opponent in a small little time in here. So let's see what soO can do. He's up 48 to 43 workers as DemiLove starts to make his first few Roaches, as does soO now, as his next Overlord finishes up. Going into a few Roaches here, just setting up for the safety way of things at this point. Let's see creep pushing down through the center of the map, some creep pushing out over to the left hand side as well. A hatchery coming down on the third base, also setting up onto the third hatch. And we're just going to be seeing the Roach speed about halfway done from both players. A few more Roaches continue to build from both too. Now, I mean, it's at this sort of point where they're building in towards their +1 missile attack timing, so it's very possible that we don't see too many drones from either player, either because they want to be aggressive, or because they want to make sure they don't die to a big Roach attack with +1 from their opponent. So both of them setting up somewhat defensively / aggressively. It's very hard to say. I think DemiLove is kind of going for the defensive format, where he has gone back into some drones here now after making enough Roaches to kind of stabilize. Whereas soO, well, maybe he does look to hit with +1/+1. He'll have the Roach speed very shortly, and with the Roach speed and the +1 carapace advantage, obviously he won't have Roach speed advantage, but with the Roach speed he can move across the map quickly to use the +1 carapace advantage. He is still only making Roaches. He's been on 47 drones for quite some time now, whereas DemiLove, we did see him starting to drone on up, and he is still continuing to drone up, taking now a 4-worker lead. And see if he keeps building on that. His +2 missile invested into as well. And that's another investment here out of DemiLove that's going to cost him essentially, because it means that with another, that much money invested into +2, he once again is not going to have maybe as many roaches as soO is going to be able to make. But for now, actually see the army supplies are pretty similar. I guess soO has a lot more gas in the bank, and that means he's probably going to be able to morph in a whole bunch of extra Ravagers. But he too is now adding on a few extra drones and just saying, okay, well, we look to be kind of being a little bit safe now. We look to be stabilizing here a little bit, and yeah, there's roaches still gathering to the left-hand side from soO, and there's the +2, so neither player does get aggressive in the end. And DemiLove will still hold that +2 missile attack upgrade timing advantage, but can he make anything with it? You know, he's going to be down a carapace upgrade, so it's not going to make the biggest of differences, I don't think, here overall. This is just going to be seeing Overlord getting shot down by the Queen, or an Overseer getting shot down by this Queen. And both players still just being very private, I would say, you know, staying to their own side of the map, not getting too adventurous, and just now DemiLove starting to take down some rocks in the center, so after the early aggression in this game, we have seen just a little bit of passivity. Passiveness? I don't think passivity is really the word at all. I don't think that is the word. I think I'm just making things up. But both players have turned into kind of a very passive player style. And as we will now see finally, though, as +2 gets ready to go, DemiLove getting into a bit more of an aggressive position to utilize that +2 upgrade. A few Ravagers morphing in. Overseer's chasing those soO. I mean, he sees this. He sees this attack moving across the map, so he knows what to prepare against. He's making more roaches. He only has a couple Ravagers of his own, but that said, it is only going to take a couple Ravagers to keep those units of DemiLove pushed back. So we'll see. As we see a couple of battles initially here onto this Overlord, doing a little bit of damage right away. And DemiLove just looking for the position, and again, we'll have that +2 attack upgrade. It doesn't matter though, the +1 carapace in play from soO. Nice couple of corrosive battles from both players initially. We'll both force this engagement, and soO, of course, is all about buying time. He's also got closer reinforcements, which will help him out, and now he's got the better concave as well, and he might even just say, let's go for this. Pushing forward, stepping in towards his opponent's army, doing quite a lot of damage right away. More roaches, more Ravagers gathering up from DemiLove to the left-hand side here, some more corrosive bars up in the sky. Very narrowly does that Overseer go down, but not quite. Just about keeping it up there at the very, very end, as we see some roaches and Ravagers from soO moving out in towards the center of the map. And they're going to have a look to see what they can get up to. DemiLove continue to move down the south side with roaches and Ravagers, seeing what else is going to happen, what else is going to be going on. You can see the +2 missile attack is on the way up and about to finish now from soO. So now he's got the upgrade lead with the carapace advantage. Let's see what happens here. He's on a similar number of Ravagers actually. Those biles are going to force soO backwards, and that allows DemiLove to keep pushing forwards and attacking himself, which creates a bit of a better fight for him. Dodges back himself right now. Now it's his turn to drop biles once again. Overall here, I think DemiLove though is going to win this fight, because look at the concave of roaches and look at his reinforcements streaming in. soO does not have enough, and DemiLove is going to push soO away from this south side of the map. Couple more roaches going down, and DemiLove is going to keep on chasing this down as well. If he grab another Ravager kill, sorry, was that I thought they were DemiLove's roaches. This map is so dark at the moment. I thought those DemiLove's roaches from the right hand side. It was actually soO's, but DemiLove takes a 150 to 137 supply advantage, and soO just didn't really take the better fight there at all. DemiLove with well-placed biles. He had the concave. When he forced soO back, he was able to move forwards and keep attacking, while soO was moving commanding backwards. This really turns out quite nicely for DemiLove. You now have I mean, it's only a 10 supply advantage. He has to be careful, because that's something which defenders, which defenders' advantage will just overcome very quickly. And as we're going to see those Ravagers and Roaches from soO reposition themselves, try and take a 4th base. Interesting different choices of 4th base. We see DemiLove taking the base on the high ground. soO will take the base on the low ground. And so both players expanding in different locations for the 4th. Which is better? I mean, it's hard to say. This one, the low ground expansion, sort of protects your natural a bit more naturally. The high ground protects your 3rd base a bit more. I mean, there's still this sort of massive sideway entrance to the left-hand side base, to the 3rd base. It's interesting. I mean, I don't think anyone's necessarily better than the other. It just means you have to position differently, which might favor players in certain ways. But from the top of my head, I can't just assess which of those is better, because they're very similar actually. I mean, they are still very similarly located. It's just interesting that they both do take different bases now. A couple more crossbars up in the sky, and we are going to see an Overlord going down. Supply is going to get capped out here for both players. A few more Overlords still just on the way up, and these roaches and Ravagers from DemiLove still sat all the way to the right. He does have a bit of a roach run by run towards the 3rd, but soO in position, already shutting that down without any issue at all. DemiLove, can he take another good fight here? Well, he has a couple corrosive bars initially to ward this away. Apparently does not want to fight just yet. He's also got some... Well, that's actually just an Overseer over there, so that's not too big a deal. Corrosive Battle's actually hitting for DemiLove. Better Concave for DemiLove as well. Look at the amount of roaches he's got fighting against what soO has. And very smartly backs away as well as soon as soO starts to take the Concave advantage. DemiLove now going to push forwards. We see some Ravagers morphing in from soO. Continuing to build up over here with... Oh, that's a lot of Ravagers. That's a lot of battles that DemiLove's going to have to be so careful about. He is building 8 more roaches though, and... I wonder, can DemiLove set up a Concave here in some ways? He once again actually has the Concave there. Going to keep on pushing forwards now. I think DemiLove still have the Concave. Very hard to say, really, when they're both fighting into the kind of either side of this choke point. And DemiLove is the player who's staying maxed out a little bit more easily. He's still got a lot of money in the bank, but a lot of his roaches are very low health as well. And so they will start dropping very quickly, and he'll have to start reinforcing a lot more faster than soO will for the next couple of moments as Corrosive Battles keep coming down. DemiLove actually sits in some Corrosive Battles, and what? All of a sudden, soO just wins the game? Come on, I'm not crazy, right? Like, DemiLove was not in a bad position until all of